Namaste and welcome back to Shrishti, our fortnightly sanctuary where we explore the art of creation, not just of things, but of a life lived with intention. I'm your host, Nivedita Singh, and as a mental wellness coach, I often talk about the importance of grounding. We look for it in our breath, in everyday activities that we do, in our thoughts, in our habits. But what happens when grounding becomes more than a practice? When it becomes the mission of a life? In a world that often measures success by how high we climb, today's guest is here to tell us a different story. It's a story it's a story of courage to climb down from the heights of corporate success to find something much deeper right beneath our feet. Namaste, and our guest today is Anindita Chaudhuri. For over 20 years, she has been a powerhouse in the corporate world, building global brands, over 20 brands, I would say, and navigating the high profile corridors and corporate ladder. But Anindita, like every guest that we have on Shrishti, felt that she has a different calling, a pull towards the earth and its people. And that is when she chose to change the direction of her life. She chose to trade that ladder for a mission that is as much about the soil as it is about the soul. She's the founder of EcoServe, a brand where she transforms the often abstract goals of sustainability into a measurable, lived reality. She describes her journey as one of grounding her legacy in the earth, bridging her immense corporate expertise with an unwavering environmental passion. She's someone who lives what she says, she practices what she preaches, and she stands for. Anandita's work is built on three pillars, powerful pillars that we will talk about today. Through corporate green auditing and CSR, she ensures organizations don't just talk about change, but actually implement high impact social projects. Through education, which is the second pillar, she's leading green awareness workshops to train the next generation of SDG leaders and equipping educators to bring climate consciousness into the modern classroom. But perhaps most moving is her commitment to sustainable sourcing, which is the third pillar. Anindita is reviving rural Indian art forms to create plastic free, zero waste essentials. And in doing so, she isn't just protecting the environment, she is building sustainable livelihoods for rural women and reviving artisan communities across India. Anindita, she believes, and I agree, that true change must happen at the grassroots for us to create a meaningful planet. Today, on the seventh episode of Shrishti, we aren't just talking about carbon footprints or recycling or environmental sustainability. We are talking about that inner dialogue which is required to choose a path less traveled. We are exploring how we can reconnect with our traditional roots to live more consciously. We are going to bust some myths about fast fashion and the expensive nature of eco friendly living. And most importantly, as a woman leading change, Anindita will share how we can balance the silent pressures of responsibility with a sense of inner peace. Our guest today wants to move beyond academic theory and create real world impact. I'm very honored to welcome Anindita on this show and help us plant the seeds of that impact today. Join me in welcoming Anindita to Shrishti and share the knowledge, share the joy of listening to her. Thank you so much for joining us on Shrishti. And we are very excited to listen the story behind sustainability and the story behind how you chose this path. So let's start with a little bit about your journey. What experiences shaped who you are today?
Well, all this started, I think it was there in my subconscious because I grew up in a very small town, surrounded in the midst of forest. There were sal, pial, trees. And as a child, I was more introvert. I loved talking to the trees. I was more of a person who loved to see which flower bloomed and all that. And I guess somewhere deep down in that little girl from that small town, that thought was seeded then as in the childhood. And in the long run, when you enter a race of all of us are in the race of doing something well in our careers and everything. So in that race, when I was in Delhi, I was studying, I was working, I was doing well in my life. But somewhere down that little, the feeling that I am staying in a concrete jungle. What can I do about it? How do I
Mhm.
bring about this change? This is always there in my mind. So I guess it must have been seeded and as a child, and as a thought that sustainability is something which I would like to take up when I see the right opportunity. And that's how it has come. The journey started. And since we'll be talking about the journey, so I guess in subsequent way, let it come out in its own pace.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
that's the how
Yes.
the journey started.
So, was there any defining moment where you felt that sustainability or environment consciousness has to be what you have to do in life?
Yes, yes, actually, very true. See, when you're running, you don't have the time to stop and look back. It is only when you get the time to stop and look back at your life that you
Mhm.
actually, ठहराव बोलते हैं ना वो आता है. So that came into my life when, I was having my children and I got to know that I'm having twins. And
Mhm.
doctors said that it could be a little, difficult pregnancy. So you should be taking care, you should be resting. And at that point of time, I realized that, what is there if I have to do running around? How will I take care of my children? Because I was in the line of media and communications and advertising. It is a very, it's a time bound thing. It's a very,
Mhm.
I had to travel a lot. So I thought that is this what I want to do in life? Because that is the time when I took a pause and I said that, it is not just for myself, but when I am nurturing a family, मेरा एक छोटा
Yes.
सा परिवार हो रहा है, what is that I want to do? Do I really
Mhm.
need to run after money and neglect the little babies which I'm going to have? Because there are high chances that, they could be underweight or whatever. So I said no. I set my mind that along with I took a pause and then I said that at least now, next for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever comes to me, it says
Mhm.
that opportunities came across. A lot of opportunities came. Ye wala job. But I decided that no, let me see that kuch bhi aaye. Can I stick to my guns? Can I just think that nahi, mujhe जो करना है ultimately मैं वही करूंगी at the opportune
Mhm.
moment. So I would say that it was the initiation of the birth of my children which made me pause and think that what do I want for my
Wonderful.
children? What do I want for my family?
Wonderful, wonderful. I think, obviously, motherhood comes with a lot of newness and a lot of awareness too. And you beautifully describe how that motherhood helped you listen to your inner calling. Wonderful.
Right.
So, if I ask you, how would you describe your work today? Is it more about awareness, about action, education, healing? How would you describe what you're doing today?
So I would say that it started as it started more like a journey towards awareness, because I first realized that one is that, when I was, how it all started. So it just started that I decided that, okay, fine, if I have to do something in the field of sustainability, how do I start? What do I do? What do I take up? Because those are the questions that props up in people's mind. They keep on thinking. So I said that something which is very, very close to my heart. Okay, everybody likes to enjoy, everybody likes to have parties, but then what was happening is these disposables and these, I started this at a time when styrofoam and all that was not banned. Okay,
Mm.
I realized that all this is going to fill in the landfills and so much is there. So I started off with those areca plates. They're called supari plates. That was not there in Maharashtra at that point of time. So I started, by rejuvenating a Sikh unit, which was in the border of Telangana and Maharashtra. And I did that. And I realized that, लोगों को enjoy तो करना चाहिए, but responsibly. That
Mm.
came to my mind that, whatever people do, then I found that people not even aware that when they are eating on those hot food on styrofoam, it's actually so carcinogenic, and a lot of cancers and all of things are happening because people don't even know that the plastic cups in which they are having, and even the paper cups, they have thin plastic, and that hot tea which comes into them, and how damaging it is for their. And people go to their offices every day, they have these this thing. So these awareness is so lacking. It's not just there in like I would say that educated gentry also, people
Mhm.
from fully educated backgrounds are also doing that. They're
Yes.
spending money on the gym, on the parlor, to look good, to feel good, and they're having parties, but they're not aware that little poison they're adding to their bodies. So that's how awareness started. When I started awareness of one particular thing, I realized that another thing, which is again a biggest contributor, which I'll come again, that not just everybody wants to not just have parties, but also look good and everything. And what can I do to see that? How do I reduce the amount of products which people use in terms of return gifts, in terms of little things? How can I see? Because there's a huge amount. You can't tell people that you stop your parties, can you? But I said
Right.
that let us
Mm.
do that by building the thing that there is something available. So
Mhm.
my journey started off with the awareness, where I started with awareness of one product, and then it spilled on to moving into giving people a gamut of things
Mhm.
available at a price which they would find maybe a plastic product, where they think that, okay, fine, this is good for me, this is good for the environment, then why not? But I would say
Right.
that still the journey is there, but a lot of people still a lot of awareness needs to be done, and it is in the process. Now that awareness is gone, and not just gone into a level, the educated people, see the people, there are two kinds of people: one who would like the nature, and one who would like to go into the malls and go
Right.
in for branded products, and they would not like bother about, okay, kya hone wala hai, dekhenge.
Mhm.
So we have to
Right.
get into the people who have the power to spend. They also need to know that a lot of fashionable and nice things are available, and that needs to seep into the education sector. So
Yes.
I've created a whole set, that awareness, product, and then back to the roots, so that the little children are also aware.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, I think you rightly said that a lot of thought needs to go into first getting aware. We are spending, but where to spend and how to make it more beneficial. You very rightly said about the teacups because so many days there are so many tapris every day. Whoever is going to the office, they go out or otherwise also, and we don't realize how harmful it is. Right from
Right.
the street shops to the like even the like structured places where we have food and beverages, so much of plastic is being used. So you're doing a wonderful job. And I think the first step taken, like even if 1% we are increasing awareness, it is a lot to achieve. So great. So coming to the core of it, where do you find the strength to navigate all the challenges that you have? Because this is something where a lot of convincing is required, lot of changing of thoughts is required. So what is it that gives you that strength?
See, the fact is that if you love your own family, if you love your own family, if you're very involved in the upbringing of your children, and you are also seeing around other children, won't you, the addiction of, children getting into devices, people randomly going into
Mhm.
malls and just buying anything. What I suggest, what I, feel very strongly from within is that it is that thought of raising my own children more responsibly, creating them into better human beings who value things, who can be role models for others also, who know the importance of why nature, why do we go and do things for the environment or for others, raising as so that has been a very
Mhm.
constant motivator for me, because again, we need to look back and into time and say that it's such a difficult journey. But I say that, okay, fine, boon boon sagar bharta hai. So if I'm starting off with my family,
Yes.
I'm sure there'll be others around, friends, family, who'll love to do it, and then I can spread the word.
Right. Great, great. Welcome, Anindita. Thank you. One thing I really love when we interacted is that you actually live what you say, and that is also something which is not very common. People talk about a lot of things, so that brings me to my next question. So what I was saying is that you actually live what you're saying. Like the talks that you do, the time that you spend, it's all related to the mission that you've chosen for your life. So that's really commendable. And coming to my next question, because as an expert in this area, I would say
Mm.
sustainability is something that everybody talks about. Like it's always there. People talk about it. People, send messages on it, but it is not really always understood. So, in your view, please share your view on what true sustainability is and how we can incorporate it into our daily lives.
I'll tell you what, the very definition of sustainability is considered most by most people as going green. It is
Mm.
not what sustainability is all about. Sustainability
Mm.
means, the true definition of sustainability means that वी शुड डू इन सिंपल वर्ड्स, हमें वही करना चाहिए जो हम कर सकते हैं अपने लिए, ताकि पर्यावरण को नुकसान ना पहुंचाए. सो अगर आपको ग्रोथ
Mm.
करना है अपना, बिल्डिंग, कंस्ट्रक्टिंग अ रोड, and you're saying that, okay, I have to construct a road and I have to, like, uproot, say 50 or 100 trees. Okay, that's not true
Mm.
sustainability. Sustainability does not mean that भाई मुझे सिर्फ इको फ्रेंडली प्रोडक्ट्स खरीदने हैं और पेड़ लगाना है. दैट्स नॉट व्हाट सस्टेनेबिलिटी इज. सस्टेनेबिलिटी मतलब ये होता है कि यू लीड अ लाइफ वेयर इन यू ग्रो, you let the nature grow, you let the others grow. If you look at the SDGs, there are 17 SDGs where there is, remove, no poverty is there, water consumption is there, then plastic, this thing is there, then climate is there. So it is like, it's also being ethical. Sustainability doesn't mean that, like there are sustainable businesses. What is sustainable business? It means that आपने कोई child labor नहीं रखा है, आप किसी को exploit
Mm.
नहीं कर रहे हैं. That is a sustainable business, a sustainable organization, a sustainable way of upbringing, a sustainable way of education. Everything is linked. So many a
Right.
times what we do is we think that going green is only sustainable. That
Mm.
is not the only meaning. It means growing in sync, in cooperation with everybody. हम खुद बड़े, हम अपने बच्चों को अच्छे से बढ़ाएं, उन्हें भी मोटिवेट करें. Even those businesses, they also should run in a way that you don't exploit something. That is true
Right.
sustainability.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anindita, because this is one very in-depth like insight that you've shared. Because, like you rightly said, we always think ki sustainability means we should go green. But actually, there's a whole ecosystem where we can, with small activities or with small conscious activities, I would say, we can actually follow this sustainability and protect the environment. So, moving ahead, I would like to ask that, generally when we talk about children, uh, parents usually, like you said, that we will buy what they want, we will do what they want, we'll let them watch devices and all. So, why do you think this education on sustainability, on being responsible environmentally, why should it start from an early age?
See, I'll tell you what, children, if I'm talking to educators, I'm talking to people who are in the line, I'm talking to parents. When you do your upbringing of your child, जो आप क्वालिटीज देते हैं, जो आप उनमें कल्चर देते हैं, वो आप बहुत बचपन से करते हैं। छोटी छोटी
Hmm.
चीज, बच्चों को बड़ों को जाके नमस्ते करना, एंड
Hmm.
ऑल। सो यू स्टार्ट एवरी गुड हैबिट एट अ अर्ली एज। एंड बिकॉज वो एक ऐसा नींव है, फाउंडेशन है, कि अगर आपने उस वक्त, इट्स लाइक अ कच्ची मिट्टी। सो इफ यू
Hmm.
वांट टू शेप इट द वे that it grows into a nice, beautiful pot, which is strong, which is, has
Hmm.
got their own। बहुत ऐसे बच्चे होते हैं जिनके tantrums के वजह से parents, just give them what they want, or the teachers, they give up, or the
Right.
educators, they feel that, or something which they will realize when they grow up and they have sense. But there are a lot of
Right.
things even preschoolers can start with, because small
Hmm.
habits like keeping a small packet in your car, and आप जब चिप्स खाते हो उसका जो कचरा होता है उससे आप अपने कार में रखो, that can start at the age of 2. Okay.
Right.
So taking your children to the park, showing them some plants, and making them,
Hmm.
not just taking them to the malls and making them, play video games, but taking them to the park, making them introduction to trees, even let them grow a small plant. These things
Hmm.
can start as early as 2. And in my case, I started it at the age of 2. That's why I'm saying, like you rightly said, I live by example. So I was staying in Mumbai. And when I had shifted to Mumbai from Pune, as you know, Mumbai is a place which has got a very cramped house and everything. But I
Hmm.
had
Right.
one thing which I told my husband, I need a big terrace. And
Hmm.
in that terrace, I had my terrace garden. It was a cemented terrace, and I had a
Right.
big pot. And at the age of 2, my children actually planted a mango tree, which is
Wow.
7 feet, 8 feet height now. And it's an
Right.
Alfonso mango, and it started giving mangoes every year.
Wow.
So, that's how it is to make children learn at a very early age is very, very important. And the key to making, like what we want to do in life, how we want to see them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, I also wanted you to share this, that how small things, small steps can be taken, planting trees or being in with an environment. Because most of the time I've seen with children, what happens is we feel that they are very young to understand something. But yes, you rightly said that that habit or that their thoughts, it all gets shaped up very early in life. So to start early is the best thing to do. So okay, so like I think one thing which is very important is also that as parents, like what you are doing, we also need to understand that our mindset should shift towards doing things rather than telling them to do. Talking about children specifically. So other than like obviously day-to-day habits, we talked about how we can maintain sustainability. But in our day-to-day lives also, uh, what initiatives should we take as individuals so that this awareness could grow? Like listening to things,
As
doing things you say. Hmm.
Yeah, as you rightly said, lead by action. As
Yes.
a mother, as a teacher, as a parent, if I have a cold drink and I throw it out of my car, is
Hmm.
it lead by example? It is not, right? If I insist my child to take a bottle wherever we go, and we can definitely refill it, those are examples which we can set. There are small, small things, people go to malls. And they pay. Yesterday, I had gone to a mall where they were charging 40 rupees for a bag. Okay.
Mhm.
And 40 rupees, people are so readily spending that 40 rupees on a
Mhm.
bag and not ready to take a foldable bag in their backpacks,
Right.
in their purses. So these things can happen because what you do to that bag, you just throw it, you just dump
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Next, very small change which can be done is, look at these wrappers when in the
Mhm.
gifts. Everybody wraps gifts, okay? So these are things which cannot be recycled. And not everything. That people have a think, "Acha, मैंने plastic recycling join किया है, so I think
Mhm.
everything can be recycled." No, there are certain kinds of plastics which can't be recycled. और ये जो होती है ना, ये सबसे खराब टाइप की प्लास्टिक्स होती है because they're very low grade. Imagine
Mhm.
the government has banned low grade plastic, and there are 50 microns plastics which are available. But what happens to the gift wrappers? Aren't they made of plastic?
Mhm. Right.
Government hasn't banned them. But we
Mhm.
need to create our own awareness. So whenever I gift something, I either put it in a paper bag, which
Mhm.
again has been made out of my used newspapers, which again I teach people to make their own bags, or else I put it in a cloth bag, which again I have my own, like people, there are so many people who can make cloth bags and you can use them for multiple things. They are not to be thrown away at one go. So
Mhm.
small habits like these. Also, how many people, how many children these days buy refills or
Yes.
use ink pens?
They don't.
Small things. I've
Mhm.
never bought pen beyond four for my children. When the third one, gets he says that the third one is not working for some reason, I buy a fourth one. I always buy refills. What do? We use and throw pens. Why? That pen goes to the landfill. Nothing happens to that pen. It just goes to the landfill. And imagine so many students, so many teachers. You're having conferences. The heights of irony is there are sustainable conferences happening, and people give
Mhm.
you use and throw
The
pen.
same pen. Yes.
And they
Right.
give you a beautiful file made of jute.
Yes.
Oh, look at the awareness level. It's happening. So that needs to
Mhm.
change.
Right, right. Yeah. So this is really like it's giving so many thoughts because actually like small things which we are going doing wrong and which can easily be changed and we can change it. We can always use a pencil, I would say, rather than using a use and throw pen that
Right.
way.
Or there are even seed
So
pencils these days available. Even after, finishing the pencil, when it becomes so seed, you can put it in and grow
yes,
a seed. So there are lots of
yes,
options available. People need to be aware of that, I guess.
great. One thing I really yes. Okay. So, moving ahead, how do you see the connection between sustainability and our traditional roots or the cultural practices?
See, I'll tell you what. Imagine when we were small, how many of us, even our grandmothers and all, they used to go to the market and they used to have those thelas. Okay. Even for
Yes,
taking non-veg and all, they had separate ones. They used to come back, wash it,
yes,
and keep it back.
hmm. Yes,
This is what we should learn from our ancestors, from our grandmothers and all that. Nowadays, what happens is you get cheap items, they got torn, and you just throw it away. There is no concept of repair or
yes,
reuse, which especially it's actually one thing which I would like to say. It is not got into this thing that it's a fashionable product which is made out of some recyclable thing, but it needs to get inside your head that how you can
yes,
just not take that particular product. Imagine our parents. they would not throw a garment when it tore. They would convert it into,
Mm.
उसको काट के कपड़ा बनाते थे या कुछ कुछ बनाते थे.
Mm.
It is considered to
Right.
be a very middle class thing. Look at the upper class people. The affordability has increased. So today there
Yes.
are more and more people. They will say, no, 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 no. We have all kitchen cloth and all. But that particular cloth can be used for multiple things. For me, whenever I am giving you, as I said, I lead by example. For me, when a bed sheet fades, or I'm replacing a curtain, I
Mhm.
always have institution. I have a bag where I keep those things, where I
Mhm.
give it to the relevant people, where
Right.
they are making godris or they are making cloth bags. There are lots of information available. Even you can connect with me for that, or there are lots of information available. You need to have it in your head कि मुझे फेंकना नहीं है, उसे
नहीं,
यूज
right.
कराना है.
Right.
So that thought has to come from you. And that is the most important thing about creating awareness.
Yeah, they're very true, very true. It has to be like, it has to be something which does not need effort to think and do. It should be within us that wastage should not happen. And yes, very rightly said, we usually, our parents or our grandparents, they knew how to reuse everything. Like I've seen my mom make cushion covers with embroidery out of old cotton bed sheets or things like that. So there's always ways to reuse and well use them.
Like to add one point here, because this is again something which I want people to use. See, there are lots of these things today available, small workshops which happen. So because I have around, I work for in the villages. I work with women in the villages. I primarily visit places, and I also see that every aspect of the organization which I have, EcoServe, every aspect of those products are sustainable. So what I do is whenever I see a sustainable art, I'm also connected to the Ministry of Skill Development, central government. I recommend that product. So I'll give you a small anecdote. I went to this, I don't know how many of you are aware of this island called Majuli Island. Majuli Island
Mhm.
is the biggest river island in Asia, or I guess the world. It's the biggest river island. It's situated in, it's in Guwahati, the Brahmaputra thing. And there is a very beautiful, sustainable mask which is made. And I went there. I even interviewed the person who he's a Padma Shri and everything. But hardly people know about that particular craft. That entire
Mhm.
mask is made out of local mud, uh, and everything, cloth, torn cloth, and everything. And from this size
Mhm.
masks to about life size masks are made, and there's a lot of mythology associated with it. They play Ramayana and Mahabharata, and how, and in the like Assamese people find
Mhm.
it culturally enriching, so they will open their shoes and go towards and sit and listen to the stories. I listened to their stories, I saw, but it was such a thing that nobody knows about it. So what I did is I did a small awareness workshop in Pune, in which I spoke about, I had bought a mask. I spoke about the mask. I spoke about how it is made and how people
Mhm.
should know about such little things. Hardly people even did not know that in our own country, there are so many culturally rich places where there are so many people who are making lovely things. It is only the
Right.
people with the explorer mindset who go explore these places, write about it, and
True,
forget it. So that is
true,
something which
true.
I wanted. You wanted to connect tradition, and so I
Yes,
wanted to
yes,
give this
yes,
example
yes.
with you. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, this is also something which I wanted to cover, that how can we reconnect? Like you said, people go and they forget. So, how can we reconnect with that culture and make it more relevant? Of course, like what you did is wonderful. If you're doing a workshop, if I'm attending it, and I think it is again related to how we redesign our thoughts. But if we have to discover such things, if we have to reconnect with the roots, what are your suggestions if someone wants to start with it? Because I know many, especially women, who have the knowledge, but it's very difficult for them to take up a step and move ahead and share that knowledge or bring it out to the world. So, what would you suggest for them to do?
The first and foremost thing is that in today's day and age, it is much easier than what things used to happen. Everything can be started right. You can start a business right from your kitchen. From your kitchen waste, you can do composting. You can, you can do so. It just needs to understand. See, the advent of technology, we need to take it as per our advantage. There are so many things. See, what again happens, there are two ways of spending a day. You want to spend a day lazing in front of the television every day gossiping, or you want to do something meaningful. There are things available. There are lots of organizations who do theater, which involves traditions. Now, there is a place, again, I had been invited to be the judge of an event which was done by, I don't know how many people know that there's a beautiful museum, which is actually the biggest museum of a cultural heritage, I think, in the whole of Asia. It's called Shiv Teri or it is a fort. It gives you a full live example of the Maharatha. And it's right, it's like very, very close. And it's in Pune only. It's very close by. It's around 20 kilometers from my house. I stay in PCMC. There they take you through the entire, it's a museum. It's a cultural museum, which
Mhm.
makes you see all the interesting aspects. They are 3D movies, and they have things about what used to happen, and also they give you ideas about how these forts, which were so self-sustaining and sustainable, इसमें
Mhm.
ठंडी नहीं लगती, गर्मी नहीं लगती, how they used to, how those materials were used. So it's not just about history and culture, it's about
Mhm.
knowing. So these are the ideas. You need to find out those places which are doing such kind of events. And today's day and age, at least, I know of at least 5 or 6 places where there are small, small things, like there are, worldly art workshops. You can take
Mhm.
instead of, going to a movie or a theater every time, just to see something, that
Mhm.
can be there. So interesting things. So what happens in today's day and age, that you can't be preaching children, you can't be
Yes.
giving them sermons. So you
Yes.
need to show them something interesting about our culture. So interesting about it. And if you show them in the form of animation, because I recently went there, there was a competition, and on Bhumi Divas, which is 22nd of April, and I was invited as a jury there to judge.
Mhm.
They had done, a painting or something which was to a detox idea about forts in Maharashtra. So, and there are so many agro-tourism things which are there, where they teach you a lot of things hands-on. तो
Right.
एक्सपीरियंस करना जरूरी है, आउट ऑफ द बुक्स.
Right.
मतलब
Right.
आपने किताबों में बच्चों को कुछ भी पढ़ा दिया, इट इज
Mm.
नॉट समथिंग विच रजिस्टर्स. इमेजिन आपने बचपन में आपकी जो यादें हैं, वो आपने जो किताब में पढ़ा है, वो आपको ज्यादा याद रहता है कि आपने जो एक्सपीरियंस किया है. अगर आप कभी
Obvious.
पेड़ चढ़े हो, if you
Hmm.
have ever climbed a guava tree, and you find a
Mm.
guava tree and you tell your children, you know what, when I was a child, I used to climb on that tree. You remember that
Mm.
experience. So there
Yes.
needs to be more and more such activities, more and more such places where there are actually there, but you need to take your children, take the effort, basically. That is
Mm.
most important.
Yes, and you rightly said that we cannot preach things because, like I've seen with my son also, he's about to be 6, and any story that he listens to or anything that we talk about, he needs to have that practical visibility. Or, for example, like he was having this Hanuman Chalisa classes were there, so there was a question answer thing, and it was written, where was Hanumanji born? And he asked me, where is it? So the location was there. I can't take him back to that time, but then he
Right.
asked me to locate it on the globe. Here's the small globe, so show me where it is. Will you take me there? So it's like I think it's a very good thing that the minds today are very inquisitive. So if we give them the right experiences, we can actually nurture them into being responsible citizens for tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
very
great.
nicely put. Actually, see, I'll tell you what, as I said, the child's mind is like a clay. You
Yes.
fill in good things in it. You get the, there are many people, this is something which I ask people not to do. कि अरे वो सब कुछ होता नहीं है, or you just shut the child down, then you kill the
Hmm.
curiosity of the child,
Yes.
at least that
Yes.
much of effort the parents, the educators, and the system
Yeah.
needs to do that. Otherwise, where is the awareness going to be? If the child asks
Yeah.
you a question and then you say that, okay, you can find all the answers on Google, go and Google it.
Hmm.
you know
Right.
that
That's
is
not the
not
right thing to do.
that is not the right kind of parenting or mentoring, I would say, for
Right.
children.
Right. So I'll just add one point here. Earlier, I used to be like, there was a time when, because being a new parent is also like on the job training. So I used to be little, always kind of aware ki if he's asking me something, I have to answer. So now I understood that if I don't have an answer, or if I have to look for something and then tell him, or I have to take him somewhere which I cannot do at that moment. So I tell him that, now I don't know this, I'll find out and I'll tell it to you. So he gets convinced. But if I tell him that, and I think it's with every children, if I tell him ki same thing, ki you can find it elsewhere, or I don't know the answer. So their mind is still ticking. It doesn't stop.
Right,
And
right.
we are like shutting it down. So it's not a right thing to do. But when I tell him that I don't know now, but I'll find out and tell it to you, then it's like, we are on the same page. So that is one way we can tackle all the questions that they have. But yes, shutting down is never an option.
Yeah. We can always come back to them because you can say that, like, beta, we don't know everything, right, of every aspect,
Hmm.
because their mind is always active. They will want to ask you
Yes.
10 questions. Why is this happening? What is this happening? And all.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that is something which we need to, and
That's another chapter altogether. But yeah, but yes, they also teach us a lot. That's there.
right.
Um, so moving ahead, little bit we touched upon it, but talking about the fast fashion and the youth mindset and breaking some myths. So you mentioned it a little bit earlier that people think that eco-friendly products are expensive. Little bit they are not very fashionable. So uh, I think this is a myth, and I would like your views to understand this better, how we can break this myth.
See, I exactly thank you for this question because this is something which I definitely wanted to answer. Um, First of all, my purpose of coming up with multiple products which are made of sustainable materials, my purpose was never to, have a, lovely artifact, because the artifacts today, you can, if you have a budget of 100 rupees, you will spend 100 rupees. If you want to spend 1 lakh, you will spend 1 lakh. But everyday utility items, gifting items, small things, okay,
Hmm.
which come in the range of 100 and 200, which we want to, suppose you want to wear jewelry. Now the one which I'm wearing here, it's made of recycled wood and it's made of jute. Okay, this one which I'm wearing
Beautiful.
again is made of the same thing. So it is it
Wow.
it, it is again, uh, I have a lot of jewelry for teenagers. There are lots of bags which are trendy and nice, which are made of sustainable materials. And what I
Hmm.
did is I did in my own society, I made mothers and children wear jewelry with
Hmm.
westerns as well as traditional, just to make that kind of awareness that it is not that it has to be always like this. I have lots of beautiful things which are there, trendy, cool, but not very expensive. Now what happens, how this myth has happened? How do you understand about eco-friendly material? You understand about eco-friendly material because you go to a Fab India. A Fab India is an upmarket store which again procures from various people or the likes of Fab
Right.
India.
Right.
It's not just Fab India, I want to say, but these are the likes of Fab. You go into a big
Mhm.
store and you see
Right.
that something. That has been, you have procured that from, then there has been a middle person, there has to be, and then the price obviously rises. And because it is
Correct.
handmade, so, so one thing is there, that first of all, you need to understand that machine made and handmade are two very
Mm,
different things. Machine made can be replicated. There is, no,
mm,
there is no, what do you say? There is no story to it. Somebody has
mm,
woven something with their own hands, the labor, the
yes.
touch of love. This needs to be understood. Okay. That if I have a choice of giving a 50 rupees pencil box, I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
I have a 50, 60 rupees pencil box which can be gifted as return gift. So I always saw that where was the pain point? The pain point
Right.
was that अरे वो expensive है मुझे तो मिलता नहीं है.
Ah, correct.
There needs to be more people who come up and say that things are available. They
Mm,
are fashionable, they are nice, they're available. Typically, our mindset is that we look into jazzy things. We
right.
always want chamkila. We always
Mm,
associated that with glamour.
right.
But
Right.
believe me, I work with a lot of brands, with a lot of people, with a lot of NGOs who have beautiful products which are cost effective and nice. Now, typically, what happens, they cannot go to that level. They cannot have
Mm-hmm.
that marketing, they cannot have that
Yes.
much of awareness. They don't have the money to do their websites, and they may be available in a small exhibition or so, or
Mm-hmm.
they have sourced it from somebody and they do not have that consistently. So there are a lot of issues because of which people associate ki, okay, there is a constant store called a Fab India, or a constant store of or something which is there in Camp, a big store, or maybe
Mm.
a Bombay store.
Bombay
And they go
store,
to
yes.
these places and they see the prices and they say, oh my God, this is
Right.
10 times the price. I would get something in plastic. But please,
Mm.
vocal for local is something which the entire world is focusing on. So if you
Yes.
really want to buy something, try and find where a local product is available. And if you really want to replace something, suppose you want to replace your bags, you want to gift bags, or you, this is first I talk about gifting. Gifting is आप अपने लिए भी खरीदते हो, आप awareness भी
Mm.
करते हो. You have a
Correct.
party at home, a kitty party at home,
Mm.
and you want to give
Mm.
people gifts. Okay. And you have a budget of 120 rupees.
Mm.
Instead of going to a shop which is very easy and picking up something of 120 to 150, why don't you do a little research on what is available in the eco-friendly category? I'm sure you will find that. The only problem is that these people are not registered in the, this thing. So that's why people do not find them. That is the problem.
Fine.
And why that
Yes.
happens? Because such genres of people do not make it. So my purpose, again, how I
Mm-hmm.
connected to my purpose is, my purpose is to see that the artisans, I'm also an artisan, by the way. I'm a government certified artisan. I've learned the art in the villages. I have
Mm.
worked with them. I eat, stay, sleep there along with them so that, they trust us. See, if we talk a
Yes.
different lingo, and
Mm.
if we talk, then they will not relate to us. I try to
Correct.
explain to them that आपका जो craft है बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन आप
Mm.
जो है ना इसी गांव में रहते हो, and you are even
Mm.
scared of leaving your family and going out.
Mm.
Okay. But your craft
Mm.
is very, very nice. And let us
Yes.
have at least 7 to 8 people trained in the same
Mm.
craft. And आपका
Correct.
ये जो है ना, ये मुंबई में या दिल्ली में या इंटरनेशनली बहुत लोगों को पसंद आएगा. आप इसको करिए.
Yeah. हाँ.
ठीक है? So that is what my purpose is again. My mission is to bring across these people and to make people understand that eco-friendly and organic are not the same.
Right.
ऑर्गेनिक में बहुत मेहनत लगती है उसको पेस्टिसाइड फ्री बनाने के लिए.
Mm.
ऑर्गेनिक अलग होता है फूड कैटेगरी. इको फ्रेंडली इज डिफरेंट. अगेन वन मोर थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू से दैट प्लीज अवॉइड थिंग्स कॉल्ड ग्रीन वॉशिंग. देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट कॉल्ड ग्रीन वॉशिंग, जहां
Mm.
लोग बोलते तो है इको फ्रेंडली बट इट इज नॉट एक्चुअली इको फ्रेंडली. One
Achha.
example I'll give you. A lot of people are today going for bamboo brushes because they say
Mm-hmm.
that's eco-friendly. Okay.
Right.
But
Mm.
when you go for a bamboo brush, do you check in the label that are the bristles made of plastic or they are
Mm.
made of something else? If it is
Mhm.
made of plastic, then what's the point? Because you're
It's no.
anyways using the plastic. So
Right,
ये जो
right.
है ना अवेयरनेस जो है ना लोगों के पास टाइम नहीं है. आप अगर
Hmm.
अपने आप को जिम में 2 घंटा देते हो, आप अगर अपने
Hmm.
पार्लर में देते हो अगर घंटा, तो अपने लिए जब शॉप करने जाओ तो जस्ट बी कॉन्शियस. दैट्स ऑल आई आस्क.
Great, great. No, I totally agree. Yes, I think awareness is, and yeah, awareness is one thing which really needs to come. And about the people back to the roots, that also you rightly said, they are not very confident in coming out and bringing something. So what you're doing is wonderful because they need that motivation, that little push to understand that what they do is valuable. And on the whole, it's an ecosystem because it's generating income from for them. It's bringing the art to the world. So it's like a very beautiful thing that you're doing, aligning it with your mission. It's really commendable. Uh,
थैंक यू.
Great. Uh, so little bit, we spoke about the fashion and the youth mindset, and you rightly said that people get attracted to things. Uh, on the whole, how do you think this fast fashion concept is affecting the environment today?
See, like once I had asked a group of college children, what is fast fashion? It's not like, it's more like, and
Mm-hmm.
then one person said it's more like fast food. I said, correct, not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
फास्ट फैशन मतलब ये होता है कि आप आपको जो है ना 200 रुपए आपका बजट है, आप 200 रुपए का कपड़ा खरीदते हो, आपको उसको देखते हो कि अरे ये फैशनेबल है, इसको वॉश करेंगे खराब हो जाएगा, तो ठीक है इसको I'll use it about 10 washes, fine, पैसा वसूल, and then I throw it.
Mm-hmm.
So I I just urge those people कि आज जो लोगों को इतनी सारी डिजीजेस हो रही है ना, स्टमक डिजीजेस, रेस्पिरेटरी डिजीजेस, और कहीं ना कहीं
Mm-hmm.
हमको लगता है कि हमें थोड़ी ना हो रहा है. Tomorrow it can happen to you too. And you know what is happening to
Yes.
all the things which we dump? कहाँ जाता है वो? Either it is burnt
Mm-hmm.
or it is going to
Right.
a rubbish bin. The biggest
Mm-hmm.
problem क्या है पता है? रिसाइकलिंग नहीं होता. आप सारा कचरा
Mm-hmm.
खुद ही फेंक देते हो एक ही जगह में. ठीक है. एंड द
Mm-hmm.
गवर्नमेंट हाउ मच विल दे? दिल बी रिसाइकलिंग नहीं
Right.
होता.
Right.
और जो रिसाइकलिंग नहीं होता है ना, वो जाता है कहाँ पे? इट गोज इन टू द स्ट्रीम्स, इट गोज इन टू द रिवर्स,
Mm-hmm.
और वहां से पंप करके आपका आता है पानी.
Right.
Today, a
Right.
lot of places, there are so much of pollutants, there are so much of pollution which is happening. The air you breathe has got little bit of plastic bits. ये जो AQI के
Yes.
बारे में हम कहते हैं ना, दिल्ली has so bad AQI, that
Mm-hmm.
stubble burning. Up, look at US for that matter. Forget about the other things right now, but they grow so much of wheat. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
stubble burning doesn't happen there. Stubble
Right.
burning का जो consequence होता है, it is faced by the north, the entire north is faced,
Yes.
the air quality. But हम क्या है, effort नहीं लगाएंगे. Farming में
Right.
इतना पैसा है पंजाब में, if you look at that area, people are rich.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be
Right.
some technology which definitely helps in this process, right? So
Right.
what we do is we don't put an effort, and that entire thing goes into our ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic is something which does not biodegrade. And
Mm-hmm.
another very I'll come to some myths later on, but another thing is that plastic doesn't biodegrade. So क्या होता है, उसके माइक्रो ग्रैन्यूल्स बन जाते हैं, और वो
Mm-hmm.
माइक्रो ग्रैन्यूल्स जो है एयर में फैला हुआ है. आप
Right.
जब ब्रीथ
Mm-hmm.
कर रहे हो, आपको अस्थमा हो रही है, आपने बोला है, व्हाट आई दीस डेज सो गेट माय स्किन गेट सो ड्राई, आई हैव सो मच ऑफ
Mm-hmm.
एलर्जीज. क्यों हो रहा है? इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम अस. इट स्टार्ट्स
Yes.
फ्रॉम हाउसहोल्ड्स लाइक अस. हमें लगता है
Yes.
हमें क्या डिफरेंस पड़ेगा. हमें डिफरेंस पड़
Mm-hmm.
रहा है, और अगर हमने एक फैमिली में भी डिफरेंस करवाया, तो इट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस, बिकॉज 4 people are doing it or 5 people are doing it. So that comes back to you. It says, no, whatever you give comes back to you. It comes back
Correct.
many folds. 10 गुना.
Mm-hmm.
आप जो ब्रीथ करते हो ना, आपकी
Right.
सांसें जो है ना, उसमें छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स रहते हैं
Mm-hmm.
प्लास्टिक. क्यों?
Mm-hmm.
हवा आती है, वो उड़ता है. एंड
Right.
इवेंचुअली व्हाट इज गोना हैपन इज, ये जो डंप है, आपने मुझे पूछा, नॉट टू स्केयर पीपल, बट दिस इज गोइंग टू हैपन इफ इट इज नॉट स्टॉप. ये जो हमारा सॉइल है ना, सॉइल की जो
हम्म,
प्योरिटी है वो खत्म हो जाएगी, क्योंकि हमारे सॉइल में
हम्म,
भी ये मिक्स हो जाएगा। और जब सॉइल
हम्म,
में हमारा
हम्म,
मिक्स हो जाएगा तो कितना भी उसमें आप पेस्टिसाइड्स डालो, कुछ भी डालो, लेकिन वो प्लास्टिक आपके, सब्जी, आप बोलोगे मैं तो वेजिटेरियन हूँ, आप जो सब्जियां खा रहे हो ना उसमें भी हम लोग जहर डाल रहे हैं।
हम्म,
एंड सारी चीजों में वही आप कंज्यूम कर रहे हो। सो
हम्म,
लैंडफिल्स इज नॉट जस्ट कि मेरा डंप करना 10 गुना मुझे आके इफेक्ट करेगा। डेडली डिजीजेस, नर्वस डिजीज, नर्वस रिलेटेड डिजीजेस, depression, lot of people are talking about mental health, but they're not linking mental health with the health of our planet and the health of us. ये सब linked है in the ecosystem, in the universe.
हम्म,
So this is something which I really, really tell people, that you feel that this is not happening. मैंने एक डाला तो वो क्या होने वाला है, मेरे पास ही आएगा 10 गुना. And I am going to be somebody, if it's not me, somebody in my family is going to have a kidney
right.
problem, is going to have a lung issue, is going to have an allergy issue. And this is happening because everybody is very self-centered today and
हम्म,
doesn't want to do beyond my little family.
हम्म, absolutely. And I think, yeah, like it has given, मतलब वो पूरा ऐसे दुनिया दिख रही है मुझे when you are speaking of it, because हम ये समझते नहीं, and when something unfortunate happens, कोई disease हुई, कुछ हुई, तो we are like, we eat healthy, we sleep properly, but ऐसा कैसे हो गया? But our actions have to be very conscious too. So
Right.
I hope this message gets conveyed to more and more people, as you are already doing it. And as much as we can, we should, keep spreading such words so that we are protecting ourselves in the end. तो सेल्फ सेंटर्ड हो भी तो अपने प्रोटेक्शन के लिए हो so that
Very
you
true.
are
For your own
even
family, for your
contributing.
own children, for your
Yes,
own health.
yes, right, right. So we spoke about myths, we spoke about eco-friendly products being they are not expensive if you go to the right places. That's very true. Now shifting little bit towards being in a space which is not very conventional and being a woman, I would have some questions related to that for the sake of our audience here. So, at any point of time, did you feel limited by societal expectations or convenience-driven lifestyle? Because you were doing very good at the corporate level, so it becomes like a very comfortable space. So one thing on that, and one thing being a woman, you have a lot of expectations from the society. So how was that?
Yeah, this question is really, a good question, because I guess this is applicable to most women, and this is applicable to anybody who has gone ahead and done something which is not the run of the mill.
Right.
So, being educated, having an MBA, having a good experience, working in senior roles, earning a lot of money, getting so much of visibility, and coming back, living in the villages has definitely, living in the villages, staying away from home, not having connectivity for days. It is something which I believe that my family, I thank everybody of my family, my twin sons, my husband has been really supportive because they understand why I'm doing so, you know. But a lot of people don't understand that, why they are doing so. Yes, apart from my immediate family, there have been people who have like poked at me and said that what is she doing with a degree in journalism from London and, having a CII green auditor and everything. See, everybody is not a clone, right? You need to have your own mindset. आप
Yes.
इस धरती पे किसी काम के लिए आए हो, and if you realize that not everybody has to be doing the same thing. Yeah, I have got my own setbacks, especially when the COVID came. Then I thought everything is finished because it's a time
Mhm.
where all this connects and all got mixed up and everything. But I was very consistent that I'm not going back to just about a job. And it's not that I say that that's bad, but definitely in your spare time, those even working in corporates can definitely contribute a little bit. Even if you are an educator, you can contribute a little bit. Go and help
Right.
an NGO, volunteer for a cause. It is definitely a very, very difficult journey for a person to leave a high profile job and do something which is initially
Absolutely.
doesn't guarantee you anything. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
you should be, very, very person passion driven. You should be
Mm-hmm.
getting these questions. Will be, there'll be 100 people there to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing, and that
Mm-hmm.
you are neglecting your children, and that you are going in a uncertain zone, and you're going and you're not reachable. But
Mm-hmm.
if your family supports you, and if your family says that it's okay, we trust you, and I will definitely not go into unsafe terrains, but yes, there'll be a network issue. I'll be not be reachable for days. So that has to really happen with a lot of support from the family. And yeah, I'll tell you what, in real way, we can support each other if we think that हमारा काम जो है ना
Mm-hmm.
पैसे से हम measure ना करें. Maybe maybe if somebody wants to leave their job and do something like this, the only
Mm-hmm.
support which they need is their immediate family supporting them and saying that, okay, you have a vision, you have a dream, you have worked, and now that you are doing something, or maybe you don't even have a vision for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
want to do something, you know
Right. Right.
for the cause. Maybe something has told you that, no, I don't want to do this. There are
Mm-hmm.
many women today who are very hesitant to do so.
Yes.
Please see that your family supports you at least some bit. Because क्या होता है, immediate family अगर आपका support करता है, तो दुनिया अगर आपको बहुत ज्यादा पुल भी करती है, at least you have some place to fall back onto. So there are, I know of
Mm-hmm.
certain people who are educated and who are everything, and who have told me that, what, my husband, educated, nice, and everything. My husband has told me that, I can't do this work because he wants me to earn that extra amount. If you have an emergency, if you really, really need to earn that money for your life's sake, definitely it is most important. But if somebody really wants to do something, what this
Right. Right.
least can somebody do is support, understand, because it is the only place where you will come back to when the world pokes you, right? There will be people, and you have to be positive from your heart, and try to shirk off. It's not easy to shirk off all the negativity and come off with whatever, but you have to have a consistent vision. मुझे ये करना है, come what may. If that
Correct.
is lacking, there are so many people to motivate you. I would say
Yes.
that today again a dream is there, that I will try and take out as many women as possible, because 90% of the people I work with is women across 150 villages across the country. I take them out of
Wow.
their houses, उन्हें एम्प्लॉयमेंट देती हूँ, उन्हें कॉन्फिडेंस देती हूँ, उन्हें कहती हूँ कि यू
Mm-hmm.
शुड हैव अ वॉइस. And it is this feeling that giving a voice to them, getting them financially independent,
Mm-hmm.
is something which is my dream कि मैं और ऐसे कर पाऊँ.
Wonderful. Wish you all the very best in this journey, because this is really, really something which is very required, and it isn't easy. Like I said, it's not a very conventional thing, it's very unconventional path, but the rigor and the passion with which you're doing it is really commendable. And you rightly said about the immediate family, because I also feel that, the very few people who you're very close to from the family, or maybe sometimes a friend or a cousin or whoever. But I feel even if, whatever is happening in your world, if they just say that they trust you, it immediately gives you a boost. Ki, okay, whatever is happening, I'll be able to tackle it. So great, great. That thought is really great that you need to have them. So we spoke about family and immediate family support and everything. One thing I would like to know is, what is your internal dialogue whenever you're feeling like, you're facing a challenge, or you're doing something which is not very easy? What is that internal dialogue that keeps you going?
Uh, well, the internal dialogue is something which, I mean, I just what I talk to myself, how do I convince my own self? That's what you wanted to ask, right?
Yes, yes.
So it's something which, I look back into what I I was, and I look at what I am now. I look at my family. I look at my children.
Now,
I have how my journey has affected so many lives. Look at the, and especially if you talk about this thing, I like to sit and contemplate. That's how it goes. I like to think about what I wanted to do, where is my journey now? And I sit with my cup of tea in a cozy corner in my, my veranda, which is my green place. There's got a swing there, and I sit there and I look at things which I wanted to do. Basically, you know what? Many a times we just don't contemplate on what we want to do. Is this our life path? Are we going on the right track? This
mhm,
introspection is very important for anybody. Okay. Another thing which I would like to say is that I sometimes, when there are series, when there is no production issue, or there is something happening, or because these are all natural products, there have been cases where it's rained so much that there have been floods, that I cannot contact
mhm,
with people. So there are lots of these issues which happen. They're natural products; they will get
mhm,
damaged, and
correct.
these people can't procure raw materials, they can't go out of their house. So there has to be a lot of back end planning,
Mhm,
what happens
right.
to that and how do you do that. So many a times when
Mhm,
I'm having multiple problems, I just sit in a quiet corner and just introspect deep into myself, that okay, what has happened, why is it happen, is it a permanent thing, do I have a plan B, and stuff like that. And it is, I
right.
like to sit with my pen and paper and not the laptop or the mobile for that.
Right. Right.
It's kind of
That
a vision
helps a
board.
lot. I am also, yeah, I also believe a lot in the power of pen and paper. Because it it actually it's like you're putting your all your thoughts on it and then you get clarity. So that happens.
Right, right. Very
Great.
true, very true. Another thing.
Topics. And this is not rapid fire, but it's like one word, one
Okay,
sentence,
okay,
just to know you as a person
okay.
better. Okay, so and add little bit of fun to it. So, what is your one food indulgence?
I would say sweets. That is less sandesh, or the one which has got Bengali sweets. I love them.
Bengali.
I can't live without them.
I think everyone does.
Hmm.
Bengali sweets. Great, great. And your favorite lazy hour? What would you do in your lazy hour?
Oh, I would just look at the sky. As a child also, I have a little forest home where I go. My favorite lazy thing is I'll sit on my easy chair and I will like to hear the sound of birds and figure out where it is coming from, closing my eyes. And at night, I like to, as a child, I used to imagine the clouds as animals and all that. And,
Oh,
like, because obviously we stayed in a green place, so there was a lot of, this thing. And nowadays, I like to do like to look at stars, and I like to look at the night sky when there is clear sky, and that is one of my favorite things. When I look at the sky, or uh, I look to I that's my favorite thing. Or maybe I'll like to hum a tune when it is fresh in the morning or in the evening. These are the two favorite timings: the twilight, the that time, when the birds are all moving to the
right.
nest and all that. And fortunately, the place I stay, the way I have done my little garden, it is that,
Mhm,
I've left it not very pruned. it is
mhm.
it's like, I have lots of these creepers, and little
Right.
birds come, and
Wow.
like here, Pune.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Next is your any expensive habit that you secretly enjoy.
Okay, so yes, something I really enjoy is getting massage. Body massage, the proper, the Kerala one, and
Mhm.
you can't get it every time. But yes, I like those authentic saunas and massage and all that. I really enjoy that.
Great, great. Okay. Any person that you've lost touch with, but you still value a lot?
Um, I would say that he is a I there was a point in time I had to go back to Calcutta. And I was getting very homesick, and there was a little safety issues because I was the he was at that point of time, and he really trusted me to join such an organization like Mudra. We spoke in Delhi and we came to Calcutta. I've lost in touch with him, but he was the one who brought me back to Kolkata, and I was really fortunate to and blessed to be there, and for such a long time. I am in touch with my boss. She was a nice lady, Kapon, but I have lost in touch with that person, Amritendu Roy, who was the one who was instrumental to bring me back to Kolkata, which I really, really wanted to at that point of time because I was missing home and I wanted to be close to home.
Great, great. Uh, the last one in this section, one line of appreciation for the person who has never been good to you. One line of appreciation for them.
Okay, so well, I would say I would not take names for this, but
Okay.
there are a host of people. When I went to study MBA in Delhi, in a premium institute, I went directly from my hometown, Durgapur, which is a quiet little hometown. And I was the very shy introvert girl with long hair and bindi, choti si, and kajal, and that's about it. I never knew what glamour was, what fashion was, and I was socially outcast because in a place like in Delhi, when I had gone to study such a important subject by my group or my teammates who were from Delhi and outside and all that, because I was considered to be a gaon ki ladki. And because of that, I would say thank you to them. Because of that, I concentrated on my studies. I used to go to the library or sit there or just come into my room. So because they felt that I couldn't. I always felt responsible that my parents have sent me to this place to study and not to indulge in parties and fancy parties. And I never asked my parents to send me extra money for all that. And somehow they loved doing all that, and I would not be a part of that. So because of that, I was a socially outcast. I did not have fancy clothes because that point of time as a student, I believed that I didn't want to get into this thing. I knew that whatever I want, I will do when I earn my money, whatever that is. And I will not waste my parents' hard-earned money on something which I'm not very comfortable about, going at night, doing parties and all that. So I concentrated on my studies, and thanks to them, that I got chosen in the best, that was the first person to be chosen out of my institute, which was, I've specialized in advertising and communications, and I got in O&M Worldwide PR, which is one of the best
Wow.
PR firms in
Yes.
Delhi. And when I got chosen, it was then that there was an eye opener, and there were many people who came up to me and said, "How did this happen?"
Correct.
Because they thought that advertising, again, all sorts of myths. Advertising
Yes.
means just to be glamorous. That's enough.
Right.
Our
Right.
PR means just to be, like this thing. But then there are lots of these myths which people have.
Right.
There's a lot of
Right.
hard work which is involved. So that
Mhm.
hard work had rewarded me, because after that, I immediately got the second job. I did not have to wait. My mentors had been very happy with me. And on my first full job, I did an international event, and I called those college professors who really stood by me. And it was a UN event where I was the only person at that point of time given a mobile and a car which could cross the Z-type security and get into the top UN officials' places. And I was so happy that God had given me this opportunity. And it was that grand event that I had invited my professors. And that was again seen by my colleagues. And they felt zapped that she could pull off such a big event on an international event as a first job.
Great, great. Wonderful, wonderful. I think yeah, it's not easy to be thankful to people who once thought you couldn't do anything, but then all that you achieved answered them, and still you're grateful to them for being in
Oh,
your life.
I'll just cut you here 1 second. See, there are people who come to you and criticize you. You can't stop them, you know.
Yes.
If you are looking away, you are I had come straight from the this thing that my clothes, what I'm wearing, or my parents would come and buy it for me. I was not that person who would go to the market, decide and all. I was from a small city. There were
Mm.
limited options available. Okay, so
Right.
I never understood that you have to be fashionable and you have to be
Mm-hmm.
doing this and you have to be doing that. So today, in today's, I just want a message that today in the social media, it is so much about the outer thing that people
Yes.
lack to
Yes.
understand that it's just about, for example, there are lots of professions, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Right.
even if there's a journalist, even if you are
Mm-hmm.
a TV journalist, you have to
Right.
have not just looks, you have to have your brain, you have to
Right.
have the knowledge, you have to have the art of communicating. That is
Correct.
important. And
Correct.
a lot of people, today glamorize startups.
Quick mix.
Yes. I mean, business and startups are again different. What I went
Right.
into is something which is very different. Okay,
Yes.
so nobody has done such a thing. And there is enough criticism which comes to you when you're doing something where you have a family of doctors and CAs and everybody is doing something. People sometimes don't even spell out what I'm doing. There are some people who call me artists. There are some people who say that, oh, she's doing something creative. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. And maybe
Right.
they're not very happy to talk about what I'm doing in
Mm-hmm.
my extended family. So that
Right.
comes to me even now. Okay. But I bless them. You know why?
Mhm.
Because that makes me feel that I am different.
Yes.
I am not like them. It
Right.
is okay. I'm not contesting and telling why you are running in the rat race. It is your
Mm-hmm.
wish. It is
Right.
my wish to do something. Yes, I have been affected. I went into a negative zone myself, but I pulled myself out. And I talk to all the women today who want to do
Mm-hmm.
something different in their life that please look at your inner calling, because your
Yes.
inner calling will stand with you and not the criticism of the world. And when
Right.
people criticize you, it is difficult, but tell them, bless you. This is your thought.
Great.
Because
Great.
your thought and my thoughts, we can't be clones.
Right.
यू नो बोलते हैं ना, जो जो लोग थोड़ा कुछ अलग काम करते हैं उनको दुनिया पागल करार करती है.
Yes.
Look at
Yes.
Einstein, look at all the great people who have done
Yes.
good work. Nobody was
Yes.
appreciated initially. Everybody was criticized. Look at all the top people who have done something great. So if you are not
Very true.
reaching up to that level, आपकी अपनी छोटी सी दुनिया में आपको पागल करार किया जाएगा, या फिर झल्ली, doesn't have a vision. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Just tell them, bless you. That's your life. That's your lookout. My life, I know what I am doing. Don't get affected by such negativity, because negativity seeps inside and it just
Yes.
makes you feel more vulnerable to these kind of things. And आप अंदर ही अंदर बिखरते हो, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
नहीं
लेकिन
पड़ता.
आप जो करने के लिए जा रहे हो, जो एक अच्छा काम करने के लिए जा रहे हो ना, वो आप बंद कर देते हो. And
Hmm.
that's where, you need to songs as a woman, as an individual, especially as a woman. Because women will
Yes.
be criticized by their in-laws, by their extended family, you're not taking up care of your child, you're not taking care of your husband, and do not feel guilty. Stop this inner guilt of yours. मैं बाहर जा रही हूँ, मैं अपने फैमिली से 10 दिन नहीं रहूंगी, मेरा बच्चा क्या करेगा? नो, don't have that guilt in your heart, because the minute you start having that guilt in your heart, then you keep on accusing or tell yourself कि अरे मैंने गलत किया, मैंने गलत किया, और जब दुनिया उसमें कुछ
वेरी ट्रू. आई थिंक वो इंटरनल बैटल, नेगेटिविटी, गिल्ट, एंड देन एक तरफ वो पुश रहता है कि मुझे ये करना है, सो वो इट बिकम्स वेरी chaotic if we keep seeping in all the negativity. Wonderful, you've given a very powerful message, and everything that we spoke about today has so much meaning, so much impact, and I would really want that it spreads out to people as much as possible, because it's all about awareness and changing the mindset. Availability है, knowledge मिल सकती है, सब कुछ हो सकता है, but जब तक हम खुद से ना चाहे चीजें नहीं होंगी. So I really would, pray and hope that the awareness spreads as much as it can, and instead of blaming things or environment or others, we start being more responsible and more conscious. So great. One last message that I would like from you is, we've witnessed your journey and the very, very relevant impact you've created. And like you rightly said, as individuals, there are many things we need to do. But yes, as a woman, there are many, many expectations around that we have. So seeing all that you've done, one message that you would like every listener today to carry with themselves as a seed of change, for seed of change and inspiration for being more responsible, and not just going with the myths, but being more responsible as an environment friendly citizen. So one message for everyone.
So, one message which I would like to say is that believe in yourself and trust in the ability that you can do something, even if the world pulls you down. Trust in the ability that you can do something, because once you don't trust yourself, forget about choosing a line, forget about, even if you are working as a teacher, or even if you're working as a, anything in a corporate, आपको हजार चीज फेस करना पड़ता है as a woman. Okay, there'll be politics, there'll be 1,000 things. So trust yourself. If you are meant for doing something, also trust the universe, trust the power that of manifestation, कि अगर आपको कुछ चीज चाहिए और वो आपने अपने आप में ठान लिया, that has to be, you have to have the conviction, you have to have the trust within. And as a woman, please try and uplift other women and not look down upon them. अगर कोई कुछ करना चाहे, आप अपना हाथ बढ़ा सकते हो तो बढ़ाओ, लेकिन कभी don't let them down, because all of you are individuals. As mothers, there could be mother-in-laws, or you could have somebody. If your friend needs you, at that point of in the rat race, you always forget that पैसा कमाना ही मेरी जिंदगी का मकसद है. अगर यही आपने बना लिया है अपनी जिंदगी में, आप बहुत लोगों को पीछे छोड़ जाओगे. तो कभी ठहर के देखो आपके आसपास कौन है जो आपके लिए केयर करते हैं, आप उनके लिए केयर करते हो. एंड प्लीज ट्राई एंड सी that you create an ecosystem around you of the right kind of people who trust you, who will help you, who will hold your hand, and you connect more people, so that ये जो है ना सिलसिला, ये जारी, ये सब चलता रहे, and more people get inspired, or they are happy to be associated with you. आज एक बोलते हैं, औरत ही औरत की शत्रु होती है. मैं ये प्रोवर्ब को खत्म करना चाहती हूँ. हम सिर्फ नाम के नहीं, प्लीज अगर किसी को भी, चाहे वो आपकी मेड हो, चाहे वो आपकी कोई भी हो, कजिन हो, सिस्टर हो, कोई भी हो, जिसे आपकी मदद चाहिए, प्लीज आप उसकी मदद कीजिए। एंड बी ट्रू एंड नेवर आस्क एनीथिंग इन रिटर्न। बिकॉज अगर आपने किसी को कभी मदद की और उसके बदले में कोई इमीडिएट चीज चाहा, तो उसे मदद नहीं किया जाता। दैट्स अ बार्टर। नेवर डू अ बार्टर। बी अ गुड ह्यूमन बीइंग। Try to do good for your own self. Stand up for yourself as a woman. आपकी डिग्निटी आपके हाथ में है। आपने अपने बच्चों को आपके ऊपर चिल्लाते हुए दिया बचपन से, तो वो आपकी डिग्निटी जो है ना, उनके सामने नहीं रहती। आपकी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट आपके हाथ में है। सो एज अ वुमन, आई वुड से that your self respect, your dignity is in your hands. See, if you have a situation, please lend, and I'm always there. And I would like to thank Nivedita, because she's also doing a wonderful job of sharing the inspirational stories of a lot of women. Please
Thank
connect
you
with
so
somebody
much.
who can motivate you and take you out of the situation. Andar hi andar dabe nahi, because today mental, this thing is very strong. Expectations बहुत strong है. This is a message for all the students, all the teachers, all the educationists, everybody out there. Please lend a helping hand. That's my only final message which I would like to take.
Wonderful, wonderful, Anita. I had a lovely time talking to you, knowing about your journey, and the every word of motivation, everything that you spoke of gives so much positivity and courage. And other than that, just looking at your journey itself gives us so much inspiration that someone can come out so powerful when they believe in themselves. So thank you once again for coming here today and giving me your time on this episode. And I would really, really love being associated with you in future also. And I would really want every woman who feel that they are feeling stuck or they are not able to do anything, please connect with people like Anandita. You can connect with me or anyone around who can, give that little push. Because I think वही चाहिए होता है कि थोड़ा सा अगर हम क्लियर करें क्लाउड्स, मेंटल क्लाउड्स को, तो फिर हम एक स्टेप ले पाते हैं. So do that and listen to such stories to stay motivated. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for inviting me, Nivedita. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. And I'll keep in touch.
Yeah, same here.
Bye.